Well, man, can you guys believe it's already July? I mean, you say that time flies, you know, everything, it seems like every year it flies faster, but when you're busy and you're involved out in the woods all the time, you're working, man, it does fly by. And early July means that a lot of deer seasons are only 2 months away, which is another hard thing to believe. But, you know, I wanted to focus on some July deer chores. And partly that relates to what I'm doing out here on a new property in Minnesota and our new home, and partly what you should be doing. And I think it's really good to take an active role in completing various whitetail projects all the way throughout the year. And for that, you know, you're not trying, and this has happened to me in my busy life before, I've tried to cram everything in August, and including planting, tree stands, trail cams, whatever else, and you end up getting half as much done as you could have otherwise if you had planned appropriately. So July brings us to a list of whitetail chores that you should be doing, and I should be doing, and I am doing. And the first one is I'm making sure that I'm making that second and third application of chemical for my no-till plots. I have 2 plots out here that are going to be brand new, where I've just sprayed them again and again, and by the time I get into August, I'll have open soil, and I'll be able to throw brassica on one half, a brassica crop, including turnip, rape, and radish. And on the other half, I'll put in a heavy layer of rye, maybe a little bit of oats, and that'll be Labor Day. And that'll all work very well without tilling, disking, plowing, anything at all, and I'll have beautiful plots. Pretty foolproof, and I've been doing that for about 20 years. So that's one thing. You're starting to get into those middle of summer sprayings. I noticed on my one plot right now, there's green broadleafs growing in there that are about 5, 6, 7 inches high. I think they have it made. You know, this open area, no competition from nutrients, and we're going to zap that really quick pretty soon. So that's one of the things I like to do. Now, tree stand maintenance and getting your tree stands out and working on tree stands. See, we have family tradition set up right here. We've taken it out of one tree on an old property I hunted on, and we're putting it out here. I'm really starting to narrow down exactly where my tree stands are going. We've picked out specific trees, and so tree stand maintenance time, whether it's June, July, into early August, the closer I get to about a month before the season, maybe 2 weeks, I really start to stop the tree stand maintenance time and tree stand setup. Especially in the case of trees where there's a lot of clearing involved. So you can bet the trees that I'm putting up right now are those ones that have the heaviest cutting. We've already started cutting out some lanes in some areas. And so I want to really lessen that activity as we go in through August. And we're really getting only 6 to 8 weeks away of really ceasing the tree stand work altogether. Now, one great consideration to all of this, whether we're spraying, we're checking trail camera spots, which I'll talk about in a second, or our tree stand areas, is the bucks that we're hunting typically shouldn't be there. Now, we have some good ones right now, Negan and Kermit, Lazy. And there's another one, I forget what we were gonna call him. We were gonna name him today. Dylan, what do we think about that one? Eileen. So I think we're gonna call him Eileen. We'll call that one Eileen, but that's a 4th one. We're hoping to keep some of those bucks. We just talked about how we're going to increase fall food, fall cover, and how we're going to do that in other videos. And certainly the way we hunt, the way we access, there's gonna be a lot of changes out here, but definitely the fall food, the fall cover, we're substantially increasing that percentage on this land. Now that brings me into shooting your bow. Now, a lot of us don't have the time to shoot our bows year round. I've tried to shoot mine a little bit during the winter time. Shot last week, gonna shoot again this week. But you know, people say just shoot every day all year long, or shoot at least once a week. I think if you're going to take up that bow 2 to 3 months before the season begins and you're competent with that bow already, then that's gonna be a lot of tune-up for you. Even just shooting 3 to 4 days a week, and especially amping it up as you get closer to the season, you're gonna be doing really well. What I like to do when I'm practicing is I'll take some pretty long practice sessions to where if I feel like I'm doing something wrong, dropping my arm, for example, so I'm getting low shots, I'm gonna make sure I do it right about 20, 30 times in a row to get that muscle memory. But it's not just that. Going in and shooting on an open bale inside your house at 5, 6 feet, where you really don't even have to aim, you're just pulling the bow back and you're subconsciously doing everything right, and then you carry that out even with your eyes closed and just make that shot. So you're getting a lot of positive repetition. I see a lot of guys that they'll go out and shoot once a week during the off season, but they're not spending enough time or a few days in a row to correct minor mistakes in your shooting form And so that's where you really bring that system into the hunting season. And if you haven't spent the time for days in a row or a few weeks in a row to correct those problems, you're going to run into problems during the bow season, especially in the form of target panic. So it's that repetition over and over and over again and telling your mind, I can do this right. And now's the time to start and really hit the range. And that's why a lot of 3D leagues are starting up right now. And then finally, cameras. You see I have an excess render in my hand, solar panel. We're using our cameras a little bit differently than a lot would, and I think this is a way going back, the reason why I've killed a lot of bucks throughout the years, because my summer trail cam spots are not in the traditional summer trail cam spots. You already should know if those bucks made it through the season, either with late trail cameras, summer scouting, sheds, driving the fields, whatever it is. You know that deer's available and he's there, and even sign will let you know that. But what we're doing on a new property right here is I'm putting cameras in specific locations where I want to hunt. I'm putting a camera in there and I'm verifying with the cell cameras that I have right now. And I really like the HD video cameras. And the reason I like that is they tell you where they're coming from, where they're going to. They tell you a lot about buck behavior. They get those buck batcher groups where one comes through, you get a good video. And then, by the way, in the background, you see another big buck coming. We have a few of those even just this year, where either a bigger one or a small one's coming back and tailing. And certainly as you extend that into the rut with a doe chasing a buck or buck chasing a doe, really watching that behavior that you can't get just from a couple snapshots. So I like putting our cell cameras in almost like our long range reconnaissance, if you look at it that way. I'm putting into areas where I specifically say, I want to hunt this bench. Buck should move through here. And then I'm verifying that with the cell cam. And sure enough, you have bucks moving through, or you don't, you leave it there. But when a buck does come through, I want to make sure that he's following the script of the reason why I think he should be moving through there in the first place. And then we've been taking those cell cameras out, putting them in a new spot so I could try more, and we're replacing that cell camera with an HD video, Lift 2 from Exodus, so we can get that 15-second clip, sometimes 20, sometimes 10. And I'm putting these in areas that most of the time I'm going to have a mock scrape. So I set one up yesterday, beautiful spot. My buddy Rich was out working on his land. We were working together. And we created one mock scrape out here, put a camera on it, and I can't wait to see what's there. I would have rather put the cell camera there in the first spot, but boy, it's a hot spot already. It's a really hub of activity on an inside cruising bench. I want to make sure what bucks are in the area, how they're using, and what that tells me when I see that buck show up during the fall, and I know he's in the area, then I know I can kill him from that spot. He's already told me he's going to travel in that spot. He's already told me he's going to be there during the rut. Once I see him coming back, whether it's late October, early November, I know I can go sit on that stand location with the right wind, not forcing it. And literally, I call those 40% sits, because if I know he's in that spot, the sign's popping up, I have some card pulls that I can get in and get out really quickly. Yeah, I know he's there, then I'm going to have a really, really good chance of killing him. So that all starts right now. We're retooling our trail cam locations. We're making sure that we're checking out our mock scrapes that we established in June, that they're being used, and if not, why. Maybe a branch hangs down, it's too low to the ground, some vegetation came in, whatever the reason, the deer trail is actually 10 feet over, we should have had it there. So we're making adjustments to our mock scrapes, we're making our adjustment to our trail camera locations. We're looking at setting up tree stands, starting to clear the major portion of our shooting lanes right now, and we're getting that spraying in here, making sure the buckwheat's growing. The buckwheat is growing fantastic, so I'm excited about seeding into it for the ultimate no-till blend of mine and planting system going into this fall. But boy, there's a lot of activities that you can do in July. We've just named a few right here. The big thing is you don't want to play catch up, because when you're trying to play catch up and working in on your property and you're saying, well, I didn't get these done in June, so I'm going to do them now. I didn't get these done in June or July, so I'm going to do them in August. That's when you start to fail as far as getting your overall objective and plan put in place, your design, your goals. And for that, you're not going to meet your goals during the fall, because again, every great whitetail parcel builds great deer herds. And I want to emphasize this. Every great whitetail parcel builds great deer herds during the fall and not the summertime. If you have great deer on your property right now, don't slack off thinking they're going to be here in the fall, because the reasons that they're here in the summer for summer food, summer cover, especially in the form of bucks, is likely the exact reason why they will not be there during the fall. So always think towards the fall. Don't rest on your laurels when you have giant, mature, velvet clad bucks. We see those bucks out here right now, and guess what? It makes me want to make changes. I see those big bucks here on the property, and I think, oh my gosh, I want to get a chance of those bucks in the fall. And if I don't make changes to make this more of a fall property with fall food, fall cover, fall access, then those bucks are going to be somewhere else, and I'm not going to be the herd influencer, let alone the one wrapping my tag around one of those monsters that we're starting to call Negan, lazy, Kermit, and now Eileen.